Welcome back to the Mula Voices of Impact, the podcast where we unpack real stories and strategies in finance, innovation, and impact. Joining me today is our CX, PR, and branding manager, Ms. Patricia, who will shed more light on what CX is and all it entails. Ms. Patricia?
Thank you so much, Mercy, for having me on board. My name is Patricia Nalyanya, Manager, Customer Experience, PR and Branding at Demula. And today we are going to deliberate more on what customer experience is and why it's important for a fintech like ours, and why we need customer experience for growth and sustainability.
Now let's break it down. What is customer experience?
Customer experience, basically, it's the overall perception or the feeling that clients have with our services and our products. And it's basically at every touch point. From the onboarding stage, whereby our teams market to our clients about our products, to the point of repayment and renewal of their loan. All these touch points are very important and very necessary because they dictate how a customer feels. And when we talk about customer service basically it's the direct assistance that we give to our clients to make sure that they're having a seamless customer experience. So customer service in some way affects customer experience, and the two are intertwined because without the other one cannot be able to thrive. And we are working around the clock to make sure that from the point we are introducing our clients to our services, to the point they are getting their funds disbursed to their mobile phones, to the point where they are trying to make a reapplication or they are renewing their loan, to the point where they are repaying. Even when these clients get to default, we are working to have a consistent customer experience because one touch point can affect or can negate the customer experience if, one, we are not proactive in coming up with maybe solutions or being able to mitigate all those issues that crop up when it comes to how the customers are feeling about our services and our products.
And how does a good experience look like at Demula?
A good experience at Demula looks like, for example, we have, let's take an example of our Isebania branch, which is on the far end, basically on the borders of Kenya and Tanzania. Mm-hmm. So we have a client in the rural areas, maybe who fell ill. They have taken our loan and they fell ill. They were not able to pay according to the repayment schedule that was given to them. So a good experience looks like this. Our agents go to this client to find out why they have not been able to pay their loan. The client explains that they have been unwell. Our team actively listens to this client and empathizes with their situation, having in mind that this client did not default intentionally, but they had some issues that were going on with them. And when they hear this client out and they still maybe bring this client back to reality, telling them, if your loan continues to stay unpaid, it's going to accrue maybe more penalties and the burden on you will be more. So they encourage this client to be able to pay slowly so that they are able to reduce the burden. So this client, at the end of the day, they have been brought to books with the outstanding loan balance, but they have also been heard and understood, and they have not been harassed. So that is how a good experience looks like. Because sometimes as lenders, we give with the expectation that the borrowers will be able to pay in good time. But we have instances where the borrowers are faced with certain circumstances or situations. Some are not within their control. And when you empathize with a client, you actively listen to a client, this client will be able to see the sense. But imagine if the situation is reversed and you go to a client, you start yelling at them, you start harassing them without listening to them first. It negates the entire experience. So this client might have been given a very good overview of what our products is all about, and they were onboarded successfully. But along the way, during their journey, something changed because they fell ill. No one had them, no one understood them, no one gave them alternatives. Because in such a situation, if this client, for example, qualifies for another option, like maybe a rollover, they're able to be given such an option, and that this helps this client to be in a better position to work with us more sustainably than if a client is just maybe harassed and dropped off.
Now, you as the manager of CX, PR and branding,
Yes.
you're leading a team. What are some of the challenges that you face as an individual and as a team?
As a team, I'll say our main challenge is consistency. Because we've said with customer experience, we have to make sure that the process is seamless. And I had mentioned different touch points, and we only need maybe one wrong to negate the entire experience. So if as teams we are not maybe working in sync, at the end of the day we'll have one team trying so much to make sure that the customers are comfortable, and then we can have one team that will negate the entire idea, because for a customer or for anyone, people will remember how you made them feel more than what you said to them. So say for example, our marketing was so good and the clients were onboarded, but along the way, the clients were harassed, or maybe the language that was used to collect from them was unprofessional. We find out that this client will have a different perception about us. They'll have something different to say, or something negative to say when it comes to our services. So basically consistency along the way, and also proactively coming up with solutions, because sometimes you might find that there is an issue that has cropped up, and that issue is left to rest. Maybe it's swept under the carpet for quite some time. So by the time it comes to light, the issue has escalated from one level to the other. So that is also another challenge that we are facing as a department, but we are working around the clock to make sure that we are educating all our teams from the branch level to other departments to proactively come up with solutions. Our turnaround time when it comes to resolving client issues should be very, very fast, because if our client is frustrated and we are taking so long to turn around their frustration, it becomes an issue. Because we have clients who are promoters and we have clients who are detractors, and we have to work in turning the detractors to promoters, because a promoter will refer you to other people to come and onboard our services. A detractor is disappointed and frustrated and they're dissatisfied. So if we take a lot of time to turn around these detractors to promoters, you find that the damage that will be done, it will be a bit bigger than it will have been if this matter was handled proactively and in the fastest way possible.
Talking about customer experience, what is one thing the listeners who are in business can do to improve their customer experience, whether it's in a shop, whether it's in a small hotel? You know, there are people who don't have an idea of how to go about customer experience. What is that one thing they can do to improve?
So I don't think if I'll tell them one thing, but I'll just tell them what our customer experience pillars are. And if you go by the pillars, basically in any organization, not only ours, you'll be able to offer good customer experience. And we go by the three pillars. The first one is transparency. Transparency is very key, because it will have you not hide anything, because you are not afraid of maybe telling the truth. Because you see, it's good if you have high quality clients who come on board knowing what to expect and what is expected from them, because they have all the details and they have everything that they need to know. And then there is empathy. I had mentioned earlier, empathy requires you to be able to basically fit in another person's shoe, and it involves active listening. Active listening basically requires you to listen without interruption, and to also make sure that everything that you are doing has compassion. Because if someone tells you they have faced maybe a difficult time, you should be able to listen to them, you should be able to offer a solution that can help at that time. And it should involve a lot of compassion, because if you're compassionate and you actively listen to your clientele, basically they'll stay with you longer, because people value being heard and understood. And you cannot say you are heard or you are understood if someone did not listen to you. So it is very, very important. And the last pillar is reliability. Reliability requires you to keep your promises. If, for example, there's been a delay in disbursement of funds and the client is frustrated, and you have promised that you are working around the clock to rectify that, you should be able to keep that promise and make sure that you take the shortest time possible in resolving such an issue. And in an event you're not able to, communication is also very key, because if maybe something is not going well and you are not communicating about the same, the client will not be aware. So it is also very important.
Now let's talk about fintech. Why is it so important for fintechs to have CX?
Having possession of people's money requires a lot of trust. People have trusted you and you have trusted them, because it's a two-way traffic. It's like a give and give. I wouldn't say it's a give and take, it's a give and give. Because if you are giving these clients money as a fintech, if you are giving them money and you're expecting them to repay that money, it involves trust. And CX is very, very important, because if you are people who don't trust each other, you as the lender, you do not trust your clients, the clients do not trust you, there's no sustainability. And for a fintech, you have to be in a very sustainable business, because being in a sustainable business involves you retaining the clients. And you can only retain clients who are trusting the brand and clients who are staying loyal with you. And the clients will only stay loyal if you are able to resolve everything. You are able to make sure that their experience is good. Because if you look at the costs involving in onboarding new clients, it's much higher than the costs involved in retaining clients. Because say, for example, right now, if our team has to go out there in the field to onboard new clients, they need resources, they need facilitation, they need movement to move from one area to another. There are maybe some forms or loan forms that have to be signed. Those are resources. But you see, if you have a continuing client, or you have been able to retain this client, you are guaranteed of revenue that is generated every other time this client reapplies. And you are not guaranteed that when you go out there in the field, you're going to onboard a new client. So customer experience is very important, because retaining clients means that your revenue is growing, and at the end of the day, your reputation is also good, because that is what a brand is all about. And on the same note, when I talk about a brand, how the public perceives, the brand is also very, very key. And that's why we also have our PR team that works around the clock to make sure that we are communicating about the impact that we are doing as a fintech, the narrative that we are working with as a fintech, the change that we are bringing about. If we say that we are focusing on the small businesses, if we say we are focusing on the underserved people or businesses, we have to make sure that there is impact. If this person started taking 5,000 at the end of the year, how far are they with their increment? How have our loans impacted the growth or the sustainability of their businesses? Because it's one thing to just give a loan, and it's another thing to measure the impact of the loans that you are giving. So as Demula, we do not just stop at giving loans. We have to look and see, are our loans helping to change the lives of the people that we are serving? And that's where the PR team comes in now to be able to amplify the impact that we are making. Yes.
So, Ms. Patricia, what I'm getting from our conversation is it is not just what we say, but how we make them feel.
Yes.
Okay. Now,
Yeah.
give us one moment you're proud of as a CX peer and branding manager.
One moment that I can say I'm proud of for a growing and a very young department, I'll want to borrow a leaf from our client education sessions. We've done several client education sessions, and I always get into rooms expecting a lot of maybe negativity or hostility from our clients because maybe they're not happy about one thing or the other. But I'm proud that there's always change in attitude whenever we go through the client education modules. Because, as a fintech, we are not just stopping at giving loans. We want to empower our clientele to make sure that they have the financial literacy skills that will enable them to be able to run their businesses more efficiently. Because for a stable business, we are guaranteed of stable revenue. Because if you have clients who are struggling because they are not aware of one or two things, they do not know how to budget, they are not keeping their records, these are clients who will end up struggling every other time. They do not know how to manage their loans, they do not know how to do good sales and marketing for their businesses. So it's the empowerment that I have seen enable most of our clients be able to thrive, the change in behavior, the change in attitude, and the uptake of their financial literacy skills. So it's a moment I can say I'm very proud of because it's the tangible little things that really matter. Because if you are able to change the perception of a certain market, you're able to change their ways of operating. I can mention branches where clients were not even paying installments because they did not understand the value of paying installments. And sometimes even if they are told, people in some circumstances, they just need someone different to be able to bring it out in a way that they will understand, and in a way that we do not look like we are marketing our products, but we are trying to empower these people to be able to uphold the best practices when it comes to managing their loans, managing their businesses, managing themselves as individuals. And at the end of the day, we have seen a lot of tangible change, and that's a moment that we are really proud of.
Thank you so much, Ms. Patricia, for honoring this invite. Any last words?
The last word that I can say is people will remember how you made them feel more than what you say to them. And so customer experience, if we say it's about feelings and perception, it means people will remember everything that you did and how that made them feel. And for us as a customer experience, we say our slogan is we listen, we support, and we deliver. And we want to be guided by that every other time. If we are able to listen, we'll be able to apply empathy, we'll be able to apply compassion. If you're able to support, it means reliability will be top notch. And if you're able to deliver, it means, at the end of the day, our clients are satisfied and they are staying with us longer, and we are in a sustainable business, and the relationship between us and the clientele is good. And that is what customer experience is all about. Thank you.
You heard it here. Experience is everything. Thank you so much for tuning in Demula Voices of Impact. See you next time.
Thank you. Ciao.